what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Jenner Show podcast. Today is my special guest, and I'm with Christos Brazil. How are you, man?
Hello, I'm good. How are you, Alan?
Good, man. I'm good. So, yeah. What's your start in wrestling? How'd you get your start in wrestling?
All right. Well, actually, it was a funny start. So I was in my, I believe, junior year of high school. That's like before you, so the year before I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of bored, to say the least, and not doing enough with myself. So I was like, damn, I should really try stuff because I've done sports in the past. I've done
Yeah.
rugby, I've done skating, I've done volleyball, I've done even fencing, like that. So I was like, let me pursue something new. I'm not exactly fit, but I'm not fit, so let's get
Okay.
fit.
Yeah.
And so I came across Battle Arts because that was close within proximity. And if you hear anything in the background, it's my bird, and it tweets like a bleep. So sorry about that.
It's okay. You can swear if you want.
Oh, it's a swearing podcast. Beef. No, that would be a little hi friends and family. But yeah, no. So I bumped into Battle Arts, and like most people, I did the test to get in. I was semi-athletic. Like I could do a cartwheel. I could do
Yeah.
like some rolls. I was struggling with the push-ups. I had no martial arts background, so I was told, give it a few, maybe like a year, build yourself up, and then you can like come back. And I was
Yeah.
like that kind of sucks because I really wanted to perform, but I didn't give up. I went still to Battle Arts and I did judo. I did like the weight training, and I just pushed myself for a good 3 months. And with the help of Bianca Corelli and other people who were supporting me, I made it in 3 months to the wrestling program,
Yeah.
and that's where it all started.
How'd you like your first character when you first started?
Oh my god! So my first character was CJ Sparks,
Okay.
but it went absolutely nowhere. I had no personality because I came in at 17. I'm currently
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
So I was just a shy mess. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be a cool superstar. I
Yeah.
had no other thing in my mind. I was like, I'll do some moves. People will like me. I'll put on some gear. No, it wasn't that easy. So CJ Sparks died almost immediately. I had
Mm.
my debut, which was a battle royal, and I just got killed. I was eliminated first. Fair,
Yeah.
welcome to Initiation 101.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really didn't go anywhere. However, I've had a bit of an evolution in the battle arts community. I went from CJ Sparks to Christos, which was generic heel, not heel, I was generic face, number one. And that was interesting. I mean, I did like head scissors. I did moves that people didn't expect me to do in my first
Really,
year.
really nice athletic moves.
Yeah, like I mean, as a small guy though, you have to do that. I feel because if you're just doing like I don't know arm drags, then you might get overlooked. So I was like, okay, let me put some nice moves in my repertoire, and we'll see how that goes.
You can't be too basic, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? So I did what I did, but still there was a lack of character, and that
Mm.
really bothered me because as we can tell right now, I have a bit of character, just a tad bit of personality.
You
So
got some good promo skills, man.
maybe I can cut a promo, but I, I just wasn't living to my potential in my mind. So we scrapped generic face number one,
Mm.
and fun story now, Damien Mizdow or Sandow or Aaron, whatever, however you want to call him, former WWE superstar, came to Battle Arts for a month, and we were talking, going over ideas because I was feeling a little like meh. I was plateauing, so to
Yeah.
speak. And he said, okay, well, what do you do in real life? And I was like, well, in the summer, I'm a camp counselor, but some of these kids, man, they just drive me insane. And he was like, I love it. The camp counselor who hates kids. And I was like, I see what you did there. And I liked it. So I cut a promo, and he liked it, and Anthony liked it too. So we just moved it forward. I had a re-debut against Peru. I died, but in the most entertaining way possible.
Yeah.
The character stuck. I mean, for those who have been to a Battle Arts show, once you hear the whistle, you know who's coming out.
Basically, yeah.
And love me or hate me, you're gonna get a show. I'm either gonna get beat
Exactly.
up or I'm gonna pin your favorite by accident.
Mhm.
Whoops.
One of my favorite matches you had was for the light heavyweight championship with Chris. How does that make you feel?
That match was unexpected
Yeah.
because, again, this was still within my first year. So when I was pulled aside backstage by Chris and he's like, hey, we're going to do a match, it's going to be for the title, I was like frozen out. I didn't know how to react because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Like, it's not every day light heavyweight champion comes to you and says, hey, like, I want to do a match with you because
Yeah.
why not? So I was surprised, and then I was told by Anthony that this was going to be a no disqualification match, and so my nerves kicked in a little bit more. I was like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah. Like you
fine.
don't want to die.
Yeah, right. I was like, my first year, I'm gonna like, just get like barbed wired or something. I don't know. And
Exactly.
and then I'm told like 15 minutes before the match that chairs are involved. So
Oh god.
I was like, oh, okay. Me not knowing how to use these chairs. I mean, I've watched wrestling, but I've
Yeah.
never used a chair in like
Yeah.
battle before. So I was just so unprepared. But then in the moment, we figured things out. Some things went well, some things didn't. But we got through the match, and people love to hate me. And we put Chris over the way you're supposed to put over your champ, and it
Yeah.
was great. It was a great experience for me. I wouldn't regret ever having a title match, period. But it was definitely the evolution of my character. Starting off as this just annoying, childish character
Yeah.
to becoming slightly more of a threat, potentially.
Because basically it built up your credibility more than it like hurt it. Because even though you lost, it's like you had a match for a championship.
I had nothing to lose, so to speak.
Exactly.
And in wrestling, you take what's given, or you take what's given to you storyline wise. Whoever's like, you're gonna get bad opponents sometimes. You're gonna get great opponents sometimes. You just gotta work with it and make it
Yeah.
your best as much as you can.
Because even if the person that you're wrestling isn't like up to your skills, you still have to try and make a good match with that person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would name names, but that would be mean. But let's just say we've all had those moments where it's like, oh crap, and then you just do it anyways, and you make it
Yeah.
as great as you can.
So which role would you like playing better, face or heel?
I've been told that I'm a natural heel, but I'm not like a Brock Lesnar heel, obviously, because I'm 5'6". Like, I'm not even 200 pounds, and I kind of play your male equivalent to what the Iconics were kind of doing.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
They could kind of, you saw them and you're
You got
like,
that sass about you, you know?
I mean, it's natural. And then in the ring, when someone says something snappy, I just look at them like, you smell. Or I like say something stupid, and people just lift. Or the whistle. The whistle triggers everybody. So
Yeah.
I use it all to my advantage. When you're face, you want everyone to cheer for you, but when you're a heel, you just do whatever, and however they react, that's up to them. But I would definitely say I was more of a comedy heel.
Hmm.
So, um, I mean, I love face too, though, because I love doing all the fun moves.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say an anti-face. I'm an anti-face.
Okay. Makes sense, makes sense. So, what did your family think of when you said you just wanted to start wrestling?
I got a few different reactions. My first
Okay.
major one was, "Are you sure?" Because obviously I'd never really been in martial arts. I wasn't
Okay.
a weightlifter. Um, although I did sports, I was doing like volleyball, skating, like
Yeah.
things that weren't the same amount of physically demanding as.
Yeah. Something they wouldn't consider like cross training in a way.
Yeah, so they were a little concerned and they thought, especially because of how fast everything went, they were worried for
Hmm.
my health because taking a bump isn't necessarily the easiest thing to
Yeah.
do. So they were obviously happy for me. They allowed it, but they just wanted to make sure that what I was doing was good for me and that I was doing it as safely as possible. And knock
Yeah.
on wood, I've never injured myself in like a terrible way. And so they're very supportive. I've taken a break obviously because of Corona, but
Yeah, of course.
come back, I'm sure they won't have an issue with that.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the wrestling business because of the virus right now?
The wrestling industry is so interesting because of how diverse everything is.
Hmm.
Because talking about AEW versus me talking about WWE is two very different things.
Hmm.
Like with WWE, the big thing right now is crowds, obviously. They want the crowds because it's hard to have an organic match with like the fake chants and everything.
Yeah.
I think storytelling with most of the guys, I think they do a really good job. You know, I think when they pushed Drew McIntyre, that was a really smart thing to do because he did put in a lot of work. Bobby Lashley is another one who's kind of he's been waiting for his moment, so I'm glad he
Yeah.
kind of got it. I've always loved The Miz. Um, for the women, I'm kind of disappointed, but I don't feel like they're always treated fairly. My personal favorites currently, people like Naomi, who have so much to give but aren't necessarily pushed to their
Yeah.
fullest potential. Um, I like Charlotte, but she's also another one I think they put a little bit too much into at times. However, she always delivers, so I can't take that away from her.
That's true. You can't lie about that.
And then I know the whole controversy with Miss Natalie Eva Marie. Uh, so I'm very curious to see how that goes. I personally liked how she dealt with the way she was being reacted with, because she is, in my mind, the biggest female heel there will ever be in
Oh
WWE.
yeah.
Simply, and it has nothing to do with her wrestling. I'm not even going to talk about her wrestling, but just her as a person. She deals with it well. Um, yeah, I'm curious to see where her next run goes. It's unfortunate that they had to let go of so many talent to potentially bring back people,
Hmm.
but nonetheless, it's interesting, and I'm curious to see how it looks in a few months. And then AEW, for instance, they have some really cool matches, and they take all these really fun indie people and basically make your dream matches come true.
Yeah, basically. Like Kenny Omega versus Jericho, Kenny Omega versus Moxley, Young Bucks versus Ray Phoenix and Pentagon. Like those are dream matches that never happened before.
For sure, and they're like collaborating with Impact, which is a really smart thing for them
Yeah.
since they're both smaller in comparison to WWE. So I think they're doing a good job of still maintaining the entertainment factor. I'm just
Yeah.
curious to see where the storytelling goes.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense. So, do you have any funny stories of your wrestling experience to share?
I have a few interesting stories. Some are funnier than others. The first one that came to mind, this is more of an awkward story, but kind of unheard of, and I don't
Hmm.
think it would have happened to anybody else at Battle Arts. But we were doing a battle royal,
Okay.
and I didn't realize this till we watched back the clips. But during the battle royal, a certain individual decided to give me a kiss on top of the head while we were rest. I was so confused because here I'm thinking, oh, did I take a headbutt? Or because when you're not looking at the person and you just feel something on the top of your head, like you kind of just react, right?
Hmm.
And then I watched it back and I was very disturbed. But at the same time, it's funny to look back on because I'm like, somebody really just decided to give me a little smooch. And then, like, he's not Pretty Ricky. I don't know what he was thinking. But it was definitely an experience. And
Hmm.
then training with people, Amy Crimson is hilarious to train with. Sometimes she'll do moves and they work. Ugh. Wow, I just stroke. They work really well, or they like flop completely.
Hmm.
To give you like a visual of it, just think of someone trying to do like a sunset flip, but then they like over jump it,
Oh,
so it's
okay.
into like a messed up swanton bomb kind of thing. Yeah. There's always fun things happening backstage.
Yeah. All right. So, in wrestling or just in general, what are your future goals?
Oh my god. Well, in wrestling, assuming everything opens up nicely, I kind of wanted to explore managing
Okay.
and potentially taking different roles within the wrestling community because although I am confident in my wrestling ability, I also understand that I am a small guy in a big man's world.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not, WWE champion or a heavyweight champion in that kind of regard. So
Hmm.
being able to explore even like cruiserweight divisions, I mean, we don't really have too much in Ontario, but
Yeah.
stuff like that, managing for the female superstars, because I love women's wrestling and I'd love to help make it more amplified and focused on. So I'd say that for wrestling, and then in general, I mean, I hope I can have a nice job in a few years. Like,
Well, yeah.
it's kind of rough being out of home all the time.
Hmm. But yeah. So basically, I feel like you be a pretty good manager because you have like the natural personality that can make you like, cause you have that natural sass, like I said earlier, where you can make it to where maybe the person you're managing, if you are a heel, you can like start jaw jacking with them and like get your person over in a way.
Oh, for sure. I have had so many scrapped ideas with Battle Arts specifically, because obviously they want me to wrestle. I like to wrestle, but I also like to work with others
Hmm.
that I don't necessarily work with all the time. So I've had pitches to be like the brother to a superstar. I've had pitches to be this fashion designer and like
Hmm.
my one like masterpiece kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've even had like clown gimmicks lined up where
Clown gimmicks.
it's like a Harley Quinn Joker kind of thing,
Oh, okay.
but like not too on the nose. I just call it the clown gimmick because it's goofy and
Like you're not gonna look like Ronald McDonald.
uh I'm not painting my face and doing no, that's too much. I remember once I was asked to put on a mask and I was like, "Are you sure about that?" I felt a little offended.
Yeah, you kind of should. It's like, okay, so your face, yeah, put a mask on that.
I was like, hey, I might wrestle kind of lucha style, but I like showing my face. The Spartans wore helmets, not masks.
Exactly. So, have you wrestled for any other promotion other than Battle Arts or no?
I have wrestled outside of Battle Arts once, but I did 3 matches.
Mm,
It was fun. Now I know what to expect when you go out into the indies.
yeah.
Um, it was an experience. I'm obviously not big in the wrestling Ontario business, but I'm also quite green. I
Yeah.
mean, technically, I'm going into my 3rd year, but because we've almost had a year and a half off,
Hmm.
still kind of considering it my 2nd year.
Yeah.
So I've had a little bit of experience. I was hoping to experience more. I was actually going to do another show last September, I believe, but things got shut down.
Yeah.
So no, I'm currently simply a semi-pro wrestler.
Hey, if anyone's watching this, he's low key a free agent. So if you all know,
Free agent. I am also in creatives and media, so if you need story ideas, I'm here. Hi.
So, what's the difference between working a crowd as a face and working the crowd as a heel?
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, when I was face, I just tried to impress everybody.
Hmm.
Because you see like a little boy basically walk into the ring, and people's first impressions are, oh, like he's kind of the filler, you know? So my immediate want is to either set myself up in terms of having a big character that people are going to enjoy,
Mhm.
or having big spots that people are going to enjoy. And when I say big, I don't necessarily mean risky, because I feel like everyone thinks, the person who does the highest flip is like the best. But I just wanted my wrestling to look smooth. I wanted it to look crisp, a little bit like aggressive, but still slick.
Okay.
So that was my face. And then when I was a heel, I had a completely different mindset, because instead of wanting to impress these people, I wanted to annoy them. So
Mhm.
first thing you do, you walk out, you go, I'm way bigger than I really am, and you know that I'm the best, and you don't want to admit that I'm the best, but
Exactly.
I'm the best. And then when you're in the ring, a lot of taunting is, at least for me, I feel like when you're a heel, you want to take any moment you can to just sit in the corner, blow a fan off, you know, just say something that might aggravate someone just a tad bit. And if they want to beat you up in the parking lot, that's cool too. But I feel like I was a likable enough heel where people would just accept it and want to watch me get beat up instead of trying to put their hands on me. And then the funniest thing is when they do like reach out or try and be rude, and you just kind of go like, you wish you were me. And then they get so mad because it's like that's definitely not what they were thinking, but you spin it
Yeah.
around on them.
I feel like you're likable enough, but I feel like sometimes with that whistle and stuff, people are gonna get really mad at you.
Oh my god, this one time I was leaving the ring. I think I either lost a match or got eliminated from a rumble or something along that line. And this guy was just not having it with me. He was like, oh, like you suck, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what he was saying because I don't listen to them half the time. Whoops, I
Yeah.
should, but I'm not. And I just took my hat and I like pretended I was gonna hit him. And the homeboy flinched and I was like, huh. And then I just blew my whistle and kept walking. I'm like such a little poo disturber. So I love how I'm still trying to be PG. But I like to test the limits, dip my
Mm,
water and see if something's gonna bite, and then
mhm.
run off like a coward.
Yeah. That's basically the heel way. So
The best way to get heat.
exactly. So I know you can't do much now, but like, what are your hobbies and goal, like the hobbies and things you do outside of wrestling?
Outside of wrestling, I'm actually I was quite active in my social life. I used to work with a multicultural festival, so every year we'd put on like this little show thing. I did stage managing, and that's just because experience is always good, and it's a good
Yeah.
way to help the community. In the summer, I was a legitimate camp counselor, so I would get a tan, I would get kids annoying me, but it's still fun. It's experience. I got paid. I mean, money. We all need money, right? So, and then on top of that, for most people who don't know me, I'm a reality TV junkie.
Hmm.
So you can catch me in
I know
studio audience.
that.
Like, I was just on Wendy Williams in January.
Hmm.
Uh,
I seen
just
that.
literally just before this Skype call, actually, I may have been filling out an application for a certain show. Who knows?
Ooh.
So I keep myself busy. I study what I want to get into. I mean, I do school as well, so I'm actually getting a degree and
Yeah.
making sure that everything can fall into place just in case. But yeah, that consists of most of my hobbies that are appropriate for the show.
We want to keep it as PG as possible,
We
please.
want to keep it as PG as possible. In WWE, they only tease, they don't tell.
Exactly.
Why
So,
is it
what would
I thought it was that Lacey Evans thing and the Ric Flair. Anyways, I don't know
you?
what I thought of that.
So this isn't wrestling based, but what would you say is your personal favorite reality TV show?
Oh god, I have a soft place in my heart for Big Brother, the
Hmm.
Canadian version, the American version. I fell in love with that show. That was the show that got me into all of them. I love Survivor.
Hmm.
I just recently started watching The Circle. That one's a really fun one too.
Okay.
For all my gays out there, RuPaul's Drag Race. Hello. That's fun too. Um, Damn, which show do I not like? I don't watch Housewives, I guess. There we go. I
I'm
watch
guessing.
the game shows.
See, I'm not gonna lie. The only one I used to watch as a kid is Jersey Shore. So
Jersey Shore, oh my god. They had like a reunion or something.
I know that's a throwback.
That is a throwback. I only remember Snooki. She was great for WWE television. Ratings, ratings.
So, anything else you'd like to share about your wrestling life, personal life?
Reality TV and whatnot is not good for wrestling. I disagree with highly. I think you need a brand. You need to
What's
be
that
a
again?
star. You know how people always say like, "Oh, I hate it when so and so like goes into Hollywood." Like, I think
Okay.
people gave John Cena some crap for like
Yeah.
switching. The Rock, not as much, but still probably a little. Eva Marie, they definitely hated when she
Oh,
was on
fuck.
Celebrity Big
Yeah.
Brother. I say you should always have something else that you do too, because I think that makes your character so much more interesting. So to all the wrestling people, don't just be a wrestler, be a brand. And if
Use
you're
that be a star gimmick that they do on WWE.
what?
You can say like, oh, don't be just a wrestler, be a star.
Be a star. Okay. No, literally, I think it's important though. You should have
Yeah.
either if you're gonna be a wrestler, you better be the best wrestler, and that's hard to do. And if
Exactly.
you want to be, I think, a full package, you need to have layers because we all love characters who have more than just like the one face.
Hmm.
Like we loved Randy Orton for having the whole like demonic side of him, and who else is there? There's plenty of superstars. Stone Cold, he's had so many layers to him.
Hmm.
Mick Foley, he's had so many different characters.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just be dimensional, you know? And even if you're not the most liked wrestler, Eva Marie, then you just you work what you have, and
Yeah.
people are gonna love you or hate you as long as they're reacting, right? The last
Yeah.
thing
Basically,
is like dead silence.
silence. Yeah.
So
But what I feel is that like I feel like but guys like John Cena and The Rock, I feel like if they would have wrestled for long, what if they got injured and then they couldn't do anything at all? You know what I mean? In the wrestling business.
that happens. There are so many unheard of wrestlers that have been trying so hard and veterans of the business, but
Hmm.
they don't even get the recognition that they would technically deserve. And that's because they were only either in one category of wrestling or just, under appreciation. I mean, there are more underrated wrestlers than there are top notch
Oh
wrestlers.
yeah, 100%.
So for every Rock and John Cena, there's hundreds, maybe even thousands of disregarded talent.
Yeah, they never get the limelight that they deserve.
hmm I think the best way to build your brand is to quite literally build a brand.
Yeah,
Make sure,
basically.
like even what's his name, Sammy Guarva from
Hmm.
AEW, he has his little YouTube thing going on. He's a cute wrestler, so he's branding himself well for what he does. Jericho is always good at making sure that everybody knew him. He's known in Japan. He's known now on AEW, and he was absolutely a star of WWE.
Oh, 100%.
So Kenny Omega's never even been to WWE, and everybody knows who that is. So
Yeah. And
it's just,
Jericho also has this band too that he
oh
uses.
my God, yeah, music. The
Hmm.
amount of people who like, I mean, I've only heard like a few of them who've done music, such as Mickey and Chris, and has there been anyone? I mean, The Rock did the Disney movie,
Yeah.
but that doesn't really count in my mind. But the ones that branch out and have their own kind of side hustle. I mean, with WWE contracts, I know that's not always possible,
Yeah.
but you can find a way. You can always find a way.
There's always a loophole.
hmm
But I feel like a lot of people know. Some people might know Chris Jericho just for his band, and some people might know The Rock just for his movies. Like,
Absolutely. And it draws more fans in because I think that's what we need is we
yeah.
need different people watching. Like, of course, the diehard fans are always going to be very important, but the only way to continue a legacy is to build on it.
Yeah.
Part of that is developing and having new fans. So even with the Eva Marie situation, she's going to be bringing a lot of new people watching the product. Whether or
Yeah.
not she's any good doesn't really matter because she's bringing in views. People want to see her potentially flop or potentially get better. So I definitely agree with the side hustle, and I hope that wrestlers, even if it's not reality TV or, you know, Hollywood, that, you know, maybe they build themselves as a lawyer on the side, and then they
Yeah.
have, like Darren Young did that, I believe.
Yeah, I think he did.
So there's so many opportunities and so much I'd love to see in regards to wrestling. So I was like, did that make sense in my mind?
I
Yeah.
feel like, but I feel like they wouldn't have let Eva Marie come back if she didn't at least improve a little bit.
I mean, I'm sure something has improved. My thing with her was her flow is just off. Like, 'cause anyone can do a move. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of making it look organic. She
Yeah.
was a little choppy, and I think she knows that. So
Mhm.
I'm curious to see, even watch her come back as a manager, and everyone's gonna be like, because they're all gonna be like, oh, she's a wrestler. Well, I'm not wrestling no more, because she really doesn't need to wrestle.
Because I used to watch Total Divas and I used to see her putting in some work, but then when she came back, she was worse than before, I guess.
I mean, in some ways she was better, but you know, wrestling, some people naturally get it, and
Mhm.
some people have to work 5 times as hard. Yes, Eva looks good, and yes, Eva has a natural it factor, but for wrestling, I believe and I hope that she's really just continued putting in work. And
Mhm.
remember, she only got signed like with 3 weeks of training, which is basically what the Divas had back in the day.
Mhm.
So she got her private training, but you don't build a flow naturally through, like, that takes a lot of time if you
Yeah.
don't have it.
And you need match reps. You can't just get training.
And I'm sure she did house shows, but I'm
Yeah.
curious to see it. Like, even if she sucks, I'm here for it.
Exactly.
I'm here for it.
But I feel like you said, a lot of people are gonna hope that she flops, and a lot of people are gonna come from her Celebrity Big Brother appearance, maybe the ones that liked her, and then they might see her be like, okay, well we watched her on this, okay, now let's see if she wrestles good or whatever.
hmm And she has a lot more diverse opponents now too, so there's so many potential storylines, etc.
Personally, I think she's gonna fail, but
I don't even think she's gonna wrestle. I think what they're gonna plan to do is to annoy fans as much as they can. It's not gonna be wardrobe malfunctions in my mind, but it's definitely gonna be
I
something.
hope not. I hope not. That was bad.
That was a story.
Story
Good old Vince. We
to
love
tell your
him.
children. So yeah, anything else you'd like to share?
um, you guys can follow me on all social media platforms at Christos Brazil, ChristosBrazill. And make sure you follow the podcast too, because Alan is an upcoming star on his own. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, I hope to get back to wrestling or entertainment in some capacity. And it was great chatting with you.
It
And
was
I hope
great to have you, man.
I entertained everyone else.
I'm pretty sure this is gonna be pretty entertaining.
You know what? They get to watch us botch our way through a talk show. No, I'm kidding. It's as swift as my wrestling, you guys, I swear.
All right, so that was Christos Brazil. He was very interesting.
I'm not throwing shade, I'm just being extra.
All right, so stay tuned to my podcast with Sexy Stan Smith on Monday, and yeah, we're out, guys.
Peace.